All right, let's talk about. We've already talked about the cathedrals a little bit, but they recorded, I believe, "I'll Live for Him," one of yours and Harold's songs.
Harold and I wrote that. Yes.
Yeah. Did you have other songs that other groups have recorded of yours throughout the years? And if so, do you remember any of them?
Yeah, there are others. I don't know that I can tell you right off all of those, but there were others in the gospel field.
Okay.
But the cathedral that they did it meant a lot to us, because I've already said just what we thought of them personally and what we thought of them professionally, and you just don't get any better than that.
I'm looking for another group to sign, maybe for my label. How about that? Talk to me about that. The what was his name? Woody Burns and the Gospel Flames. Tell me about them.
I didn't even know if I should mention that story, but we did. Were you kin to Larry Butler?
No, I wasn't. No.
None of you Butlers are kin, right?
No,
But we got to playing around with that, and then came up with the idea. We said, well, if you did the road hog and you roasted country music, let's roast gospel music and do Woody Burns and the Gospel Flames. And they never got any farther than the talking stage, but because we didn't know if we should do that or not. But it would have been fun.
I'm going to take that idea to Jeff Easter, because he's just crazy enough for he and I to do that.
Yeah, he's crazy enough to do it. And tell him I said so. Yeah.
All right. Okay. With all the places you've been, all the people you've met, can we expect a Statler Brothers pictorial history book sometime?
Oh my golly! You know, my boys are always gathering up pictures and say, we want to get pictures that nobody else has seen. Well, after a while, you run out of those because we don't take any more pictures. We're not around anymore. So I don't know if we ever come up with that, but it might be an interesting thing to do if we can find enough interesting things that people haven't seen.
Well, I mean, I've seen, just reading through your book, all, the presidents you've sung for, other dignitaries, all the movie stars and TV stars, and I mean Mike Douglas show and Elizabeth Taylor. I mean, it goes on and on and on. All your cowboy friends that from the movies that you met.
Yeah.
Do you have pictures of all that stuff?
A lot of it. You're right. We do have a lot of things there that could be interesting. Lang, did you get that? Give it to me. I want to show that to Les, because we got to talk about this. Now, Harold was quite an artist. He always doodled. He would draw. He was really good. And I would save stuff. I'd go behind him because he would sit at his desk. We'd be having meetings. And after the meeting was over, I'd go and tear off a sheet, and I've kept his stuff. I want you to see this. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Harold drew this picture sketch.
There you go.
The Gospel Flames. That's what we were talking about. You're the only other person to see that.
That's awesome.
It sits on my desk, and that was his picture of the Gospel Flames.
I think I saw maybe a little of Jake and a little of Hovey in a couple of those caricatures.
Oh, you see that? Oh, you do. You see some Jake up here.
Yeah.
He got a mixture in there, and a little JD, and
yeah.
I love it. Maybe we'll put that in that picture book you want.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, if you do a picture book, I'm the first one in line to get it, man.
Okay.
I love it. And maybe you could just write a little paragraph about what was going on and why you were there and what was happening. Man, it'd make for a great book.
I'll keep that in mind.
A word for a third.
That's right.
Get a third of it. No, I'm kidding.
A word for a third. There's a songwriter for you.
All right, let's see. What else do I have here? You recorded at least one song in your career that they got significant airplay both in country and gospel music, and that was Jimmy's song "More Than Name on the Wall." Man, tell me about that one. What a song!
Yeah, Jimmy came to us with it. He and John Rimmel wrote this song as a writer friend of his, and they wrote this song, and it smacked us right in the face. It was right in my era because I had friends that were in Vietnam, and I had friends that has their name on that wall, and I went myself to take the physical and to go if I had to, and I didn't pass it. Uncle Sam said I had too many heartbeats per minute, so he sent me home. But it was a terrible time in our lives, but one that we remembered so well. And when he came up to this thing with the wall, It was just beautiful. I've been to the wall, and it's something to see. And wow.
Yeah.
And he captured it. He captured with the lyric, and it was a touching moment every night that we sang in concert. And people would stand up, and I knew they weren't standing up for us. They were standing up for that wall and for those people that were lost. And that was just so touching.
Yeah. Well, great song. And wasn't that song of the year or number one or both? Or
I think, well, not to CMA, but there was, I think it was a song of the year at the Music City News Awards or something.
Okay. Yeah. Great song. Okay, let's talk about This Old House. You mentioned that you had so many memories that tied into that song, This Old House. And any quartet in Southern gospel music, if they've been around more than a few days, they've had to take a stab at that.
Absolutely. It was there. That was one of those early hits in pop field. That was a gospel song. Rosemary Clooney back in the 50s had this flat out gospel song. And everybody was singing it. And we sang it too. Like I said, when we started singing as kids, and was still singing it the last night of our final concert in 2002, because it just kind of demanded, it was just always a place for it on the show. The people loved it. And we would use it sometimes as an encore number, or sometimes just throw it in because we wanted to. But
yeah. You even tied it into comedy too, you said in the book.
We worked a comedy routine. We would stop and do one on the second verse, and we just ad-libbed that one night, and it worked so well we kept it in. So we do that often, and I tell the story in the Johnny Cash days that his dad, whenever his daddy would come to the show, that was his favorite song, and he'd look us up and say, "Y'all gonna sing that song for me tonight, aren't you, boys?" And we'd say, "Well, sure," and we'd put it in the show. Or just before we go in, John would knock on our door and I open and say, "Daddy's here tonight, boys. Y'all know what that means." And we'd put it in the show. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, your last album was Music, Memories, and You. Or not, that wasn't your last album, but it was the last album on vinyl that you offered.
Okay.
And and so take just a second and talk about, the music delivery world of today. It's such a different day today.
Yeah. Langdon, my son, and his cousin Wilson Fairchild, they're in the music business, and they do that. I wouldn't know how to put a record out today. I know they do it with digital, and they do it with I wouldn't know how to pull one up if I wanted to buy a record. I would still like to go to the store and be able to buy one and leaf through the album before I did. Yeah. But I know you can do that online too. You can do all of that, and I've tried that. But it's a different world of how you sell it and what you do. Yeah. And it's kind of beyond. I haven't kept up real well with that. I still hear things I want to hear, but one of the boys usually, download it for me.
Yeah.
But it's different.
Yeah. What I have found, because I'm still in that world, so I'm having to figure that out as well. And I'm slowly but surely doing that. But you know what I have found myself doing? I'll see an artist that typically I've liked or something, and I will download it. It's on my phone. And so I'm driving and I'm playing the music on my phone. And I still find, for me, it's the song. And so whenever it's going and songs come up, I hit the delete button. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's still the song to me. I mean, I may be able to download all of the music that's being produced all over the world today, but at the end of the day, it may not make what they call my playlist. I hit the delete button. So it's still about the song. However it's delivered, that song better be right, or it's out for me.
That's right, because you got a lot of competition going on out there. So you got to get their attention and hold it. Yeah.
Tell us about your TNN years, man. That had to be some kind of ride. Woo!
That's something that happened to us by surprise. We didn't know exactly what we were doing or what we were getting into. But TNN asked us to do a variety show. And we had turned down other offers through the years of people that were interested in doing that because we didn't want to burn ourselves out on television while we were still such record sellers. So we got to thinking about it. We thought, this might be the time in our career we want to do something like this. And there again, they, like Jerry Kennedy had done with our records, gave us complete artistic freedom to do the show the way we wanted to. We're able to close it with a gospel song every show. We do our own comedy routines. Harold and I wrote every show for 7 seasons, for 7 years. So we wrote it so we knew it was going to be like we wanted to do it. Have any guests we wanted to have. We'd have like 3 guests every show. So we said we'll give it a try. And we really did figure, just between the 4 of us, we thought we'll do this for about 3 years and this will be fun.
Yeah.
That we did it for 7 years because it remained the #1 show on the network. And they kept coming back, well, let's do this again. And we'd say, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And because we were having more fun than we meant to have.
Yeah.
And we were working with Bill Walker and a 22-piece orchestra every week. And it was just so much fun to go in there and do that and rehearse it and tape it each night. And so it was a great time for us. We had the 90s, I think of as our TV years.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were the #1 show on TNN, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I remember reading you were the #1 show on cable TV for those years, not just.
Yeah, that's true. On most cable for most of the time through those years we were. Yeah, we had great audiences. I mean, we had our numbers were comparable to the Tonight Show and things were on the networks. Yeah.
Wow. And, tying it back in, again, 42 years in the gospel world, so I always typically tie things back to that. You ended each show, man. You brought Southern gospel, straight ahead quartet music 101 to the world every Saturday night.
It was fun doing that, too.
Thank you for doing that.
Oh, well, thank you. It was our pleasure, and that's what we wanted. You know where we got the idea for that? It wasn't real original. I don't know if you remember this or not. Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Sure.
Had a show back when I was a kid. Had a half-an-hour show on ABC, and he closed every show with a gospel song.
Mm-hmm.
And I always loved it because we were such big gospel fans even then. We said, man, this is really cool. And years later, we worked a lot with Ernie. And but so when we got our show, we said, we want to do that same thing. We wanted the gospel. So we did it. And Bill Walker was there playing the piano every week. And we arranged the song, send it to him, and they'd write their orchestra parts. It was just so much fulfillment to be able to do that and people lived for that moment. We kept them the whole hour because they were waiting for the gospel song. We heard from so many, many fans that told us that.
I wouldn't be surprised if the mail that you got in through TNN wasn't highly skewed toward that moment in the show.
Yeah, it was. That was a favorite part of their show.
Yeah,
they would tell us they loved the opening comedy and the closing song. That's what we got the most mail about.
And Bill Walker's old time rinky tink piano playing.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, using old upright that we stood around. If you remember.
Yeah.